Hey, where? Hi, hello, how are you? You're listening to I've Always Said That with your host, Brad Buckland, where we are recapping, rehashing, reanalyzing RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars 11 Episode 3, the last and not penultimate? Final episode of Bracket 1. It's always already the end of Bracket 1. That's kind of shocking. The thing about this, doing the double premiere, is that these Bracket 1 queens only have 2 weeks with us, so it feels very rushed, but we're already at the end. Who's going to make the semi-finals? Only 2 queens are going to make the semi-finals. Let's get into it. So last week we had Akira and Dawn in the top with their beautiful design looks, absolutely deserved wins, and Akira won the lip sync. So she got her points, got her dues, and honestly, she did win that lip sync to Fergalicious. Still mad that they didn't include the rap, but what are you going to do, you know? So they come into the workroom and it's time for the MVQ ceremony. And, you know, tensions are high, things are brewing. Morgan doesn't think she's going to get any points because she was the winner last week. So let's see if that comes to fruition. Lucky goes first and she's looking at Mystique and Morphine because they're both also on 1 point each and she wants to help one of them out. So she gives her point to Morphine and kind of mends that relationship a little bit. And I was like, that's big of her because they had some beef, but I guess if she wants to mend that bridge, good on her. Morphine returns the favor and gives it to Lucky. I think it would have been really fun if she did give it to like Dawn or Morgan or someone just to like stir the pot even more. But do not fear, the pot hath stirren, because Morgan gets up and she gives her point to Akira. Now, this is why I love this, because she is so true to her word. She said in episode 1, I think it was, with Akira, they were discussing like, are we going to give each other points if like one of us are in the top? And she was like, yeah, I don't see why not. And props to her for following through on her word, because she's like, Akira, get up. You helped everyone. You deserve this point. And Akira's like, oh my God, thank you. And everyone absolutely shocked. I was like, oh, this is fantastic television. Oh my God, I love this so much. It's so exciting. Dawn's like, oh. If I was Dawn, I'd be like, is someone going to give me a point? Can I have a point, please? Then Mystique gets up and she's like, Akira, stay where you are because I'm going to give you a point as well. And I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? Like, actually insane. Everyone is floored. They're like, what the hell? And it makes it really interesting. I kind of understand them going to only 2 queens going to the semi-finals now because it's really making it a lot more competitive. Like Morgan, Dawn and Akira are all up there with points and they've all done well thus far. But only 2 of them are getting through. Like they're all pretty close. Like if we look at the points tally, we've got Akira now at the top with 6 points. She's gotten 5 points like in the space of 1 week. That's crazy behavior. Dawn with 2 challenge wins is only coming second with 4 points. Morgan's got 3. Morphine and Lucky have 2 each, and Mystique is at the bottom with 1. So there's a lot of room for things to happen, you know. Like Morphine wins the next challenge, she's up to 5, and if someone gives her a point, she gets up to 6. Maybe that's enough. Because this is the first bracket of this like slightly adjusted format. It's like, where is the mark of how many points you have where you're guaranteed? And at this point, I don't think anyone's guaranteed going into this last episode. I think it's going to be hard for especially Mystique, but also Lucky and Morphine to sort of catch up. But these other 3, at this point, completely interchangeable. So it's a new day in the workroom and Mystique's on one. She is on one. She says she's disappointed in Morphine and Lucky for not giving their points to Akira. If I was Akira, I'd be like, word, thanks, yeah. Where are your points? I won. I deserve all the points. Because she's like, she helped everyone, and she did. Dawn brings up a good point, and she's like, just because she helped everyone does not mean she's entitled to her point. If you want to give her your point, you're more than welcome to do so. But you can't force anyone else to. Lucky's like explaining herself. I'm like, you don't even need to explain yourself. But she's like, I wanted to like help someone out who was towards the bottom, hence why she gave it to Morphine. And Mystique's like, well, if you don't win this week, I expect your point then. I'm like, Mystique, girl, calm down. Oh my God. And I really see Mystique's like worth, for lack of a better term, in this bracket. Like, she is really causing the drama and just bringing back that like ultimate, like, cutting sort of no shit. And I'm really here for it. I think Mystique's casting has been absolutely perfect. I know I've been giving her for like her drag and such. And look, it's not my favorite. It's not my personal taste, but her personality with this group of queens, I think it's the perfect mix for the excellent sort of dynamics that we're getting. Yeah, so crazy. So I just caught up in that. Ru comes in to announce the Maxi Challenge, and it is the home spooky network. So I think like QVC, sort of late night television marketing, selling sort of vibes. They're each going to get a persona and then have to sell an item sort of associated with that persona. Akiria is going to be a mummy, and she's going to be selling the Infinity Wrap. Dawn is a werewolf selling grooming products. Lucky, vampire, an iron supplement drink. Morgan is going to be a ghost with supernatural cosmetics. I'm like, what is supernatural cosmetics? Okay. Morphine is going to be a zombie. Meat of the Month Club. Fun. Love that. And Mystique is going to be Frankenstein with dead handbags. If I was going to be one of these, I think I would probably go with, I think the Frankenstein. I think you could do a lot of that with the dead handbags. Or even the vampire. Like, I know vampires can be overdone and such, but I feel like you could still do a lot with that, and you'll sort of like make fun of like only the best of the best crops that we're getting, you know, that sort of vibe. They have to work and present in pairs, and they get to choose their own partners. So it's like a mad scramble. But immediately, Morphine and Dawn are like, yep. And then Akiria and Morgan are like, yep. So that kind of just leaves Mystique and Lucky kind of just like, okay, yeah, we'll work together. Sure. I would want to work with probably Akiria. I think that would be my choice on who to work with. I think she's really funny in these sort of improv challenges, so I think she could really be really fun to bounce off. As they're getting ready, Mystique, again, she's like ladle in hand, I'm gonna stir. She says to Morphine and Dawn, oh, did you two choose each other because you have the best chemistry? And they're like, yeah, of course. We think we worked well together. And she's like, do you think that's going to be a disadvantage? And Dawn, in the most like plain neutral voice, is like, no. So you don't think you're going to outshine one of it? I'm like, we all see what you're doing, you shade. I love it, but we see what you're doing. Also, when she's working with Lucky on like putting their show together, Lucky's like very up here, very crazy. Like their drags are just, I feel like, are very on. Mystique's very old school, traditional. Lucky's very like new school club kid. And I just don't think their personalities and work styles are meshing in this sort of workshopping process. So Lucky's like, oh, we're going to be doing this. We're going to be doing this. I'm going to have like tongues. I'm going to be throwing food. And Mystique's like, you're not going to be throwing. She's like, I'm wearing white and you will not be getting anything on me. And I'm like, respect, sure. And I was just like, okay, but you're also shutting down everything that she's saying. So we got to find a balance ground here. I'm very curious to see how this is going to turn out. So we get to the Home Spooky Network. First up is Dawn and Morphine. Love these looks. I think Dawn looks incredible as a werewolf. She like the makeup, the ears, even the hair is just so perfect. I think Morphine's look is like, it's hard to make a zombie work, I feel like, especially because Morphine is so mugged. Like she's got this beautiful, beautiful face, and then it's just like blood and zombie. So it's just very like juxtaposition of the two worlds colliding. Anyway, I think these two did really, really well. Dawn kind of goes first in showing off the grooming products and everything, and Morphine's like there's like the, oh yeah, tell me more, blah, 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 blah. And then they sort of switch roles, and then Morphine's doing it, and they're like eating brains and such. I thought they worked really well together. It's not often that I laugh at these sort of challenges, but I had a few chuckles here and there, and I thought they did really well, especially Morphine, considering she's not an actress, she's not really known for her improv skills. So I thought she's come a long way since her original season. And I was like, this is a great duo to start with. Really fun, fresh, love it. Then we have Lucky and Mystique, and this one was a train wreck in the best possible way. First up, Lucky's look, loved. It's this, she looked kind of like clown. She said she was inspired by like fungus and whatever. It's huge, it's very Lucky. The only thing is I was not getting vampire from it. Yes, like the red could be blood of sorts, but I couldn't see, I think fangs, as on the nose as it is, I couldn't see fangs. I couldn't see anything that gave me vampire, like off the bat, besides the fact that she was like selling blood. But still, she got confused with what she was selling as well. And we were like, as viewers, what is she selling? It wasn't until Mystique actually said, oh, you'll get your daily dose of iron or your iron supplement or something, that I was like, yeah, there it is. She's selling iron supplement, blood, juice, whatever you want to call it. So I was like, ooh, okay. Then Mystique goes, she's got so much energy. I think she's really thrived in this challenge. I thought she did really well. She's a bit like cutting and sort of like, no girl, we've moved on from that. We're doing mine now. Like, okay, love it. I was a bit like, ooh, okay. But it worked. I think they had like a sort of fun dynamic in that way. But it was when they got the caller that this skit really took off. The caller asked Lucky if it's kosher. Is it what? Kosher. Is it what? Kosher. Culture. Kosher. And Mystique's like, kosher. It's a kosher. And Lucky's like, who is that? They just had to move on because Lucky had no idea what kosher was. That is the highlight of the show, and I think that's the moment that people are going to remember from this episode, truly. So whether she won or not, Lucky won this episode. Then to round out the groups, we have Akira and Morgan. Akira, the mummy, Morgan, the ghost. I thought they were very good. I thought they had funny moments and such. Did I think they stood out above everyone? Not particularly. I do love their looks. Akira looks amazing with this bejeweled headpiece and this wrap. I think she looks phenomenal. Morgan looks great as a ghost with like the purple makeup, with the really pale skin and the dress and everything. Really fun with the moment where she moved the hair out of her face to like reveal like the burn marks on her cheek or whatever. That was really good. I thought Morgan was giving us this more like dry, like moody sort of character, when Akira was like, oh, what shade does it come in? And she's like, white, or she said something along those lines. And I was like, this is funny. It's very dry humor. I like it. But I still think it could have been elevated a little bit more. They had good moments. They had really good interactions with each other. But for me, it didn't stand out as a duo together. Who do I think did the best? I think it was Dawn, Morphine, Akira, Mystique, Morgan, Lucky. I think that would be my personal list based off the challenge alone. Now, on to the runway. Category is Paris, France. I saw this meme and it was like, they're running out of runways. They're just going cities now. They're like, Paris, France. Next, they're going to do Paris, Texas. Love it. First up, bring to the stage, we have Dawn giving us ratatouille. Well, that was Italian. This is like amazing. I think because she's brought such a high caliber of runways to the stage so far. This is not my favorite of her runways, but that doesn't mean I don't like it. I think this is a beautiful runway. I think the prosthetic in the rat face is amazing. I love the dress. I love the references and everything. I think it is beautifully done. No notes, amazing. Dawn has absolutely demolished this bracket, hands down. Then we have Morphine. Oh my God, she's giving us Parisian catacombs down. This is literally a work of art. I think I saw somewhere that Q from season 16 made this for her, I believe. Phenomenal. This look, oh, this is the best Morphine has ever looked. I think this is her best look, easily. She's got the jaw prosthetic on and she's got like the smoke coming out of her dress. And I feel like sometimes when people do things like smoke or lights or whatever, it can just look a little bit like, ooh, that doesn't look like it's going well. But it was just like the right amount of smoke where I was like, this is really cool. Like, this is really effective. Love this look. Morphine, you are the diva that you are. Then we had Lucky Stars, and this is lucky hands down. This is so her. Like, if this is the epitome of her drag, I feel like she's wearing like the biggest headpiece in Drag Race, as they said on the show. This just amazing mural. Her like skirt sort of thing is a palette, like an art palette, and then she's got all these art paintings hanging off her. She's covered in paint. She is the Louvre. Just phenomenal. I think she's so creative and so beautiful. I'm really glad that they did this as the last runway because they all just excelled and they look so beautiful. Then we bring to the stage Mystique. And this is, look, this is beautiful. She's referencing like a perfume, sort of Parisian Dior, I think it is, with like the sort of gold sort of notes in her look. She looks phenomenal. This is the best her mug's ever looked. I love this hair with it as well, like the short hair. I think it's gorgeous. I think it's stunning. Could it have been pushed more? Absolutely. I have an issue with like the see-through of the dress from like the thighs down. I just think that kind of like breaks it up in a weird way where it looks like a mini skirt with like a mesh thing over the top. Not loving. She did post a look online, which I think was like her updated if she could do again sort of Paris look. And this is phenomenal. Like, it's so grand, so monarch, gold, phenomenal. I think she looks incredible in that. So I think if that was on the stage, oh, delicious. Then we have Akira giving us this absolute gorgeous Josephine Baker look with the bananas. Every single banana is bedazzled. It looks so beautiful. She looks so incredible. I'm giving everyone so much positivity because they all look amazing. Like, are you joking? I think Akira is just such an absolute epitome of beauty. I'm obsessed with her. I think she's phenomenal. She just absolutely nailed this look and I don't really know what to say. If you don't like it, your opinion's wrong. Sorry. And then rounding out the group, we have Morgan McMichaels giving us Joan of Arc. And apparently Joan of Arc is also, what did she say, a style of cutlery or something? And also, that's strange, but okay. Love this look. This look is so cool. Giving us Joan of Arc. The wig is perfect. The like Bob sort of moment with this armor, but the armor is cutlery. And she's got the massive sword and all the details. Oh, Morgan has just really stepped her game up. And she is proving her Entertainer of the Year title down. Absolutely gorgeous. I think looking back between this run and her All-Stars 3 run, obviously like different worlds. She's so much more comfortable in herself and who she is as a performer. And you can just absolutely see that through and through. And I'm so glad she's got this like redemption moment because she deserves it. I think she's incredible. What I would do to see her live. Oh, I want to go to LA just to go to WeHo, just to see her because I think it would be incredible. Critiques. They go through all the queens, and the queens that seem to be getting the best sort of critiques are Dawn, Morgan, and Mystique. And Morphine's critiques, they were like, oh, we just think you got kind of outshone by Dawn, and Dawn was kind of carrying it a bit. And I was like, oh, like, I see what you mean, but I disagree. And Morgan got really good critiques, and I don't want to disagree with those critiques. I do think she did amazing, but I was just really, in my head, I saw Dawn and Morphine at the top. So they come back to the main stage and they announce the top two as Dawn, 3 challenge wins in a row, 1, 2, 3, line them up, all of bracket 1, absolutely demolished. And Morgan McMichaels winning her 2nd challenge of the bracket, amazing, good on her. She did really well, so I am happy that she's up there. I think she's phenomenal. The top 2 lip sync to Zombie Boy by Lady Gaga. Yes, we love a mayhem moment, incredible. I thought this was a really fun lip sync. I saw Zombie Boy and I was like, I don't know how this is going to go as a lip sync song, but I thought they did really well. I think Morgan was maybe doing a little bit too much sort of punk rock choreo, I want to say. I don't know, where Dawn was kind of giving a little bit more of the vibe, I suppose. Well, that was my interpretation of what their performance was. And I thought, is Dawn gonna win this? But then also they were showing Dawn a lot more than Morgan. So I was like, oh, the edit is telling us that Dawn is gonna win this. I'm like, okay, cool. Dawn ultimately wins the lip sync. Her first lip sync? Her first lip sync win of her Drag Race career. So she wins not only $10,000, but a very important extra point. So after this challenge, the points tally currently stands at Dawn with 7, Akira with 6, Morgan with 5, Morphine and Lucky at 2, and Mystique at 1. So at this point, Morphine, Lucky, and Mystique are pretty much out of it. They don't really have a way of getting to the semi-finals. Whereas Dawn, Akira, and Morgan, a lot can happen with these 4 points in terms of where they're going to go. So the stakes are very high. Akira goes first, and she gives her point to Morgan McMichaels. And I had a feeling that she was going to do this because she was repaying Morgan for Morgan giving her a point earlier in the episode. But this could be the point that knocks her out of the semi-finals because it is ultimately between them two of who gets through. So it's like, that's a really risky decision, but I really respect her for doing it. And it makes great television, so love to see it. Lucky goes next, and she also gives her point to Morgan, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting stressed. I'm getting really stressed. So that means Dawn and Morgan are both on 7, Akira are on 6. So at the moment, it's Dawn and Morgan going through. I'm like, okay. Morphine gives her point to her season 16 sister, Dawn, which puts Dawn through to 8 and basically secures Dawn's spot in the semi-final. There's no way that she can be knocked out of that spot. Dawn is going through to the semi-finals. So it comes down to Mystique. Akira is on 6, Morgan's on 7. Who she gives her point to will decide who goes through. She gives her point to the underdog that she wants to see represent the bracket, Akira C. Davenport. I love, leave it to Mystique to just be that last sort of, we're going to cause one more bit of drama in this bracket and causing a tie. Absolutely love it. It's phenomenal. So, Morgan and Akira are tied for 7 points. The stakes are high. My heart is beating through my little chest. Now, it is Ru's decision on who she wants to go through to the semi-finals, which I don't necessarily agree with. I think they should lip sync to see who goes through. I think that's probably the fairest way to do it. That's pretty much the premise of the entire show. So just having Ru pick the person to go through, I'm kind of like, sure. Ru's like, I am basing this off your performance tonight and through the entire competition. And I'm like, so Morgan's won 2 challenges, Akira's won 1. If that's what you're saying, Morgan goes through. Ru picks Akira, and I'm like, whoa, okay, love. I'm so happy Akira. I mean, I would be happy if Morgan or Akira went through. I do wish all 3 of them could go through, but I do love the drama of only 2 going through. I was a bit floored when he picked Akira because I was, not me calling Ru he. But I was like, holy crap. Akira and Dawn are going through and not Morgan. And I was like, I love Akira and I know she's going to absolutely kill the semi-finals, but Morgan not going through after the performance she had in this bracket, I was like, wow, you can win 2 out of 3 challenges and get eliminated. That's great. This tournament of All-Stars is a bit of BS, but also crazy. And I'm like, I'm getting a bit of whiplash of going, oh my God, you just won, but you've also just been eliminated. It's a lot. It's a lot. So that means Morgan, Lucky, Morphine, and Mystique are eliminated. However, all hope is not lost. And they are doing a returning queen like they did last season. However, Ru and Michelle will be picking 3 queens at the end of all the brackets to go into a lottery where the winner will then join all the queens at the start of the semi-finals, not at the lip sync for the crown like they did last year. And I'm like, that makes more sense. That I like. That is approved. Very curious to see who it'll be. Out of these 4 queens that got eliminated tonight, I hope it's Morgan. I think she absolutely deserves another chance. A great first bracket. I think these queens did an absolutely phenomenal job. People being reintroduced like Mystique, Morgan getting her redemption, Akira really showing the powerhouse that she is, Dawn going from winning no challenges to absolutely smashing all of these 3, and then Morphine and Lucky being the icons that they are. I think phenomenal first bracket, phenomenal first round. Very excited for bracket 2. the pink bracket where we've got Crystal Method, Silky Nutmeg Ganache, Vivacious, April Carry On, Aura Mayari, and Selena Estidis. I think that's going to be a really fun bracket. And I can't wait for that. So make sure to tune in next week. This has been Brad for I've Always Said That. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at I've Always Said That.pod, not Instagram and Facebook. Instagram and TikTok at I've Always Said That.pod. This has been Brad for I've Always Said That. Thank you, you're welcome. Love you, bye.